Yippee-ki-yay, melon farmer.
Hey, welcome back, knife nerds and everyday care people. It's your boy, the Big Canucker, and we're having a look at something here today that I've wanted to get in my little dainty hands for some time. Ugh, Schwam, that's what it is. Rather than have a big crazy preamble, let's get right to the meat of the matter. This XM-18 Bowie, I've wanted one forever. I've always wanted a Hinderer Bowie, and I ended up starting off with this XM-24. And now I've got a match set, and I couldn't be more than tickled pink. I don't think I've ever been tickled pink, but I've tickled some pink. Oh, well, I guess disregard. All right, knife nerds and everyday care people, it's your boy, the Big Canucker here, just breaking into this video. Just want you guys to please hit the old subscribe button, the like and share. Help me to spread my voice if you think I've earned it, and I appreciate it so much, you guys. Now back to the video. So I started off with this XM-18, this XM-24. I've had that for a year and a bit, and I gotta say, I absolutely love this knife. Right up until the time I dropped it, as you can see, this tip is a little bit blunted. I dropped it on some concrete, but before it hit the concrete, this absolutely razor sharp edge stabbed into my calf, and it put a big slice into it. And man, oh man, I just kind of slapped my hand over top of it, and there was blood, a lot of blood. And but I still, you know what, I have carried this since then because I do love this knife. It's absolutely fantastic. And we'll do one more quick size comparison here as an AD10, because this XM-18 is a fairly big knife in itself, but I took two beasts to kind of make it look a little bit small. I gotta say, right off the bat, I absolutely love this Bowie, and it is having such a hard time leaving my pocket. I have to say that this is probably the best EDC knife that I currently own right now, and for just like a myriad of reasons. And I was never a super fan of the XM-18. I much preferred the Rick Hinderer designed ZT-0561 my card I've got, or the 0562. Hello, man, oh man, I wish they would stop the numbers. But the 0562, I like that a whole lot more than my first couple of Hinderers, XM-18s. I had an XM-18 skinny, which was just too damn skinny. I know it's skinny. It was a slicer grind, which was okay, but I didn't like the jimping on it. As you can see here, the jimping on the ones with the G10 here, this little titanium that runs inside there, it's wicked sharp. It's quite a bit sharper than just these full size jimps. It's way sharper, and it really bit into my thumb, and I absolutely hated it. I really like the fact that this one has got a full double titanium scales on it. Now this did come with a really nice blue G10 scale with the skinny scale behind it. And I ended up buying an XM-18 a while ago that had double titanium scales. And I just ended up selling that, but I kept the scale to go out to my new XM-18 that I was going to find, because I was trying to find one of these Bowies for a long time, and I am sure glad I did. I think this knife is absolutely fantastic. Now let's kind of go over some of the numbers real quick. Now the blade length itself is 3.5 inches long, which is the perfect EDC size. I think if you're getting a little bit bigger, I mean, 3.68, 3.7, that's kind of about the max. When you hit that 4 inch, I think you're just getting a little bit big for the pocket, kind of like this here. I mean, this is kind of quite big for the pocket. You know, if you're got something that's you know, a pair of shorts or some sweatpants, you're definitely not going to want to carry that XM-24 in there. This XM-18, even though it's a little bit kind of heavy, now it's 5.6 ounces without this double titanium scales. I haven't got a scale to weigh it, but it seems like it's fairly light. I have no problems carrying this whatsoever. Now, the overall length is 8.25 inches long, so it's just right in there. Now, the handle length is 4.75 inches, which is, you know, it's more than enough to fit my double XL hands in there. You can see I've got just a smidge kind of sticking out the end, and that's kind of the way I like it. The ergonomics on this knife are excellent. Rick Hinderer, who's a fireman, and he wanted to build a knife that could be opened up with gloves and, you know, a heavy-duty, hard-use knife. And he really hit it out of the park with this XM-18. Now, let's just see here. Now, the blade thickness is 0.165. of an inch, and I gotta say that I think that's somewhere around 5 millimeters. It's a thick blade. Now, what I really like is the fact that you've got some nice thickness here. Now this blade here stays thick all the way through completely. As you can see here, now it's just got a little bit of weight saving here, a little bit of a swedge in there, but then this end kind of fattens up a little bit, and you've got lots of tip on this. So there's absolutely no problems. If you got to play just the tip, you've got enough strength here that you're not going to break it. Because sometimes just the tip ends up being a snapped off tip, and you definitely don't want a snapped off tip when you're playing just the tip. All right, so this one here has got a couple of extra aftermarket things. It's got, a color coded little hider there for the clip hole here. As you can see, it can go back and forth. They can go tip up or tip down carry. There's no left or right hand side, is right hand side only. Now you've got hidden behind this clip, you've got the Rick Hinder over travel. So that means you can't pull your titanium lock bar here too far and kind of bend it out. And and that just gives it that much more stability. Now, the other thing I have to say about these Hinderer knives. Now, they in-house do everything themselves. So all these screws here kind of milled inside Hinderer, and this pivot screw especially, it's a nice big pivot, but it's machined in such a way that I think that sometimes as you're opening and closing, because this is a really quite a beautiful flipper action, and it is very, very fidget friendly. I mean, I have a great time flipping this. As I flip the hell out of this thing, it seems like the pivot loosens up a little bit. And overall, it seemed like a few screws and the entire thing loosened up. So I ended up taking some blue thread locker and putting it on every single screw. I ended up losing this lock bar insert screw. I didn't know where it went. It wasn't in my pocket. It went somewhere. And so I have to give Hinderer some props, because I ended up giving them an email saying, hey, look, I'd like to buy one of these screws, because I couldn't find a place to buy these aftermarket. There was a place, but it came as like there's 10 of them for like $36 and stuff like that on Amazon. And I just like, why do I need 10 of these little screws and $36? And so I ended up sending Hinderer an email, and I got to say that these guys were fantastic. They sent me back an email saying, you don't need to buy one. What model do you have? And we'll send you out one. And true to their word, I told them I had the XM-18 3.5 inch. This is what it was. Took a picture, sent it to them. They said, no problem. We got one coming to you on the way. And a couple weeks later, in the mail, there was a great big envelope. And it was a big envelope for just a little tiny screw, but it wasn't getting lost, that's for sure. And, I put it in there. It was perfect. And I'm just loving life ever since, because I get to carry this beautiful, beautiful knife. It is super fantastic. Now, let's just see. The overall thickness here is 0.54. So it's a little over half an inch. It's like it fills the hand. The ergonomics on this knife are super, super fantastic. Now, a G10 version of this in Canada, XM-18 Bowie, it'll cost $707. It's plus tax and shipping. It is not cheap. In the States, just the G10 version is $425 US. So, I mean, it is a pricey knife. Yeah, it's definitely a pricey knife, but I just think you're getting one of the best knives out there that is made. That's one of the things I have to say. The very first Hinderer knife that I put in my hand was an Eclipse. No, not, yeah, it was the Eclipse. And I have to say that there's some, like, hey, look, there's some knives out there that are $500, $600, $700 that you kind of flip around and you play and you kind of cut with, and you think, well, that's not much different than like this $250, knife that I've got. It's very, very different. But I have to say that the very first time that I put a Hinderer in my hand and I messed around with it and I cut it and I used it and I carried it, I could tell that this was an expensive knife. I could tell that this was a well built knife, and I could tell that the fit and finish was absolutely fantastic. I have to say that I have taken apart Hinderer knives probably 15 or 20 times, and I have, without fail, have not been able to, I mean, it has been centered every single time. This blade and every Hinderer that I've ever owned, once I've taken apart, I've put it back together, I've tightened up the screw to where I like it, and it is perfect down the center. There's no kind of adjusting this or loosening the body screws and twisting at this and doing that. The fit and finish is absolutely perfection. That's all I gotta say. And the other thing here is the ergonomics on this knife is super fantastic. Whether you've got yourself a kind of a, you're giving yourself kind of a pommel grip, or you're just kind of gripped here, or you're kind of choking up on it, I gotta say that the ergonomics are fantastic without exception, except for this choil here. This choil here, I mean, it is okay with my hand. It's not too bad, but my hand is dangerously close to this little edge here. And one little kind of, if you're in a hurry and you kind of reach ahead, it's going to cut. And it's just, I mean, it's not too small for the looks of it, and it's not too small for what it does, which is kind of a beautiful sharpening choil. It's just not quite. I would like to see this perhaps be maybe 3.6 inches long, maybe just a little bit, and make this choil just a little bit bigger. I would be okay with that quite a bit more than I am with just the way it is right now. It's just a little bit too small, and you may have smaller fingers that fit in there fine, but for me, it's just, I don't know, it's just a little too close to that. Now, the other thing that I forgot to mention that this Hinderer has is, you see this little thing right here? This little thing here says that it's a tri-way pivot. Now, that tri-way pivot is such a cool thing that, and I don't know if Rick Hinderer was the first one ever to come out with this, but it's something that he's quite famous for. So that just gives you three different pivot combinations, all within the same knife. So right now it is running on bearings, and it's not running on Hinderer bearings. Actually, it's running on Skiff Rocket Glide bearings, and I'm going to leave a little link in the description if you want to go and buy yourself some of these Skiff bearings. They're fantastic, or Skiff tools, or even Skiff knives. Don't forget to add in the coupon code TBC for the Big Canucker, and you'll get yourself 10% off. I thought I'd throw that out there. Now, this knife here was drop shut with the Hinderer bearings on it, but they're just that much more smoother here with the Rocket Glide bearings in there, and they are, I gotta say, they are wicked smooth. So the tri-way pivot is, you've got a bearing setup here. Here, let me get it out of here. Where the heck did I put it here? Oh, right here. So this is the little bag that it came in. So you can get yourself some bearings, and here happens to be the Hinderer bearings right here. You can run this on phosphor bronze washers. If you're in that kind of environment where it's going to be sandy and gritty, and you maybe want these kind of phosphor bronze rather than get a little bit of a grit inside any of your bearings, or if you're going to be in a time where you can't take this knife apart and do a bunch of cleaning regularly, you'd want to put these kind of self-lubricating bearings that are in there right now. I'm trying to think of what the heck those are called. There's like PTFE. They're like a plastic nylon bearing. That's what they are, like a nylon washer. And the nice thing about the nylon is they are self-lubricating. So let's just say if you're in the military and you're going to be, overseas in the desert for the next 2 years, and you're not going to be able to regularly take your knife apart and clean it, you might want to put those in there, because get a little bit of sand in there and it's still going to kind of a little bit of grit inside there. You're not going to feel it as much. You may wear them out eventually, but it's not going to be like a set of bearings where it's, it won't kind of seize up on you. That's for sure. So that's kind of what I kind of figured why they put the nylon bearings in there, because they are self-lubricating. And so if you know something different, put it in the comments and let me know what each one is for. But I got to say that I really, really have enjoyed having these rocket bearings in there. They're super fantastic, and it's super drop shut. Absolutely just like that. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, the other thing here is, as far as the jimping is concerned, I wish that they would make this just... now, they take everything in here, and I imagine it runs through like a little vibrating machine with some ceramic little... I can't remember the word for it. It's little pieces of ceramic that'll kind of knock down each individual edge a little bit. And you can see that it is a little bit smoother on here, but it is still, this way is just a little bit rough. I just wish that they would kind of knock the jimping down just a bit. And I wish they would make this just a little less pointy, because after a lot of real hard, like lots of flipping on this, my finger gets a little bit sore. And I gotta say, well, it's yeah, third world problems, buddy. Grow up. But hey, I'm saying that if they made it a little bit smoother, it would make it a little bit funner, a little bit more fidget friendly. Not that it's not. They've got the D10 absolutely dialed in on this. I don't think I can remember a time where I failed to deploy a Hinderer knife, except when I maybe flipped it and it's kind of ran into my pocket, or ran into my leg or something. Other than that, every single time this thing just rockets out. There's no doubt whatsoever. Oh, look at that. See? Got to be careful with this thing. This thing is sharp. But you can kind of push button it, or you can kind of light switch it. Either way, it's going to open up. No problem. And that's the other thing, is I wish they put a little bit wider landing zone in there. Just this inside jimping a little bit. I wish they kind of smoothed out a little bit so your finger lands in a little bit nicer place. Just a couple little tiny nitpicks. And maybe down the road, if I decide to get myself a little machining thing, I'll put myself a little bit of a, I'll run like a little bit of these last maybe 2 jimps. I'll widen it out just a smidge, just to see what happens. Hey, mess around with just, a $700 knife and just do a little bit of my own machining. But you never know what the future holds. Gotta say, if you have got the wherewithal or the money to buy yourself a Hinderer, I don't think you'll be not disappointed whatsoever. It is a super fantastic and excellent EDC knife. As a matter of fact, one of the best EDC knives, I believe, out there anywhere in Knifeland, and been one of the best ones that I've ever kind of had the good fortune to put inside my pocket. So I hope you guys enjoyed what you had to see here. I really appreciate you guys stopping by to see me. I hope you guys please stay safe out there. Keep your stick on the ice, the shiny side up. This is the Big Canucker saying adios.